Was a group of you guys down here together kind of celebrating, or what was it, a conference? What were you guys down here for?
Well, post Katrina, we have, and thanks to the city of Houston, we have a few longtime members who took up residency in Houston, and so it is not uncommon in recent years for a group of brothers to make a pilgrimage to from New Orleans to Houston to fellowship with those guys who really had a strong connection in the organization, but because of the Hurricane Katrina, they are several hours away from the city of New Orleans if you're driving, and who've gotten old in age, and who don't really come down to the city as often as they used to. So we have some former kings of our organization who resides in Houston, witch doctors, and major carnival principals. And so on Saturday, the bus left from New Orleans to go to Houston to fraternize and to fellowship with some of the brothers who are now residents of the city of Houston.
And so when the shooting happened, it was a group of the guys that are part of this group.
That's right. That's exactly. Members, longtime members of the organization, and some ranking officers. We had a recording secretary that was there. I'm the president, and I took the trip up. So we had some a cross section of the membership decided to take a ride up to Houston and fellowship with some members that are in Houston.
And so were you near where the shooting happened, or did you hear, or when you heard about the shooting, tell me about the moment when all of this went down.
So we left New Orleans at 8:17 on Tuesday, excuse me, 8:17 on Saturday morning. We made one stop in Bro Bridge for lunch, and we made an easy ride up 10 to the the Galleria area on West Hyman. So we must have gotten there about 2:30, 3 o'clock. Some of us are cigar smokers and had been on a bus ride and wanted to have a good cigar. So we went upstairs and put our bags in a room, and some of us went over to across the street to a restaurant. I think it's called Zoto's, yep, right across. Grotto's, yes, across the street, and looking for a place to smoke because we were staying at the Derrick Hotel, and we were informed that it was a smoke-free environment. So few of us walked to the restaurant to ask if we could smoke on the patio. We were willing to buy drinks, and they said, "Yeah, sure." And so we took rest on the patio and started smoking probably around 3:15, because we had an engagement at 5 o'clock, and at 5:30 we had to be there. We had to be in the hotel lobby, the Derrick Hotel, at 5:30. So we had just got there about 2:30. Took over to find a place to smoke around 3 o'clock. With the plans, some of us had plans to get back. Knew we had to be in the lobby at 5:30. And so, sequence of events that happened for me is that around the 5 o'clock hour, I looked at my watch and told another Zulu member, "Hey, it's time we go. So we need to go to the CVS. I needed to pick up some pain medicine because I'm dealing with bursitis in the shoulder. So wanted to go get some pain medicine and then go to the hotel room to get dressed." He showed me that he had a drink that he hadn't completed yet. I said, "Okay, finish your drink, and I'll wait for you to tell me when you're ready to go." I looked at my watch. It was probably about 5 after, and we were still sitting there. He and I said, "Well, look, I'm just going to go ahead on and go to CVS." And so I get up to go to CVS. I make it to CVS. I'm on the pain medicine aisle, and my phone rings, and I'm being told, "Elroy, they killed one of the members. They killed him." I said, "Well, what you mean? I just left. I'm no longer than no more than 20 to 30 yards away." I said, "What you mean?" He says, "You got to come back. And Everett Briscoe has been shot in the side." So I put my pain medicine down. I'm in the checkout, but I put it down and run back over to where I was, and walk upon a tragic event where two brothers had been shot, and the other members were two members who was also there Was attending to Officer Everett Briscoe, trying to comfort him, and I immediately jump on 911, trying to figure out what it is you need me to do. I mean, what have y'all not done? So we need the paramedics, we need 911. So I immediately get on the call, dial 911 for emergency response to appear.
Wow, that's so crazy. Just the timing of you just leaving and coming back, that just blows my mind. Wow. Um, did they tell you guys what happened? These guys just try to rob them? What was it?
So after they were able to get Everett Briscoe off to into an ambulance and off to a hospital. Well, after each one of them was taken away, I was able to talk to one of the brothers to figure out, well, what happened. I just left. What happened? And he shared with me that uh, one guy come up from behind the building and asked them to raise your hand. And one of the brothers that remained was a trained police officer, lieutenant on the force, says, "Hey, man, we're raising our hands. We're raising them slowly. We're raising them slowly." And they get their hands in the air. And another guy, um, comes from behind the building and sound like there was a command given to him. So he comes from behind the building and starts to shoot.
So he just shot without a care in the world.
That's what it sounds like.
Oh my, I'm just shocked. It's just such a sad story, especially because I'm sure you're familiar, but this is one of the busiest intersections, one of the busiest streets in Houston in broad daylight. It just,
Yes, I'm very familiar. I moved from Houston back to New Orleans in 2016. So I lived in Houston from 2012, August of 2012 to September of 2016. And when I moved to Houston, I actually stayed on Augusta and West Town. So I'm very familiar with the area. And so when I learned of the trip and where they were staying, I felt very comfortable because I know of the traffic that flows on West Time. I know about the major shopping that takes place in the Galleria area and the area on a little bit. I don't know if it's north, but on the side of the street we were on, I know there's further high-end shopping further down there. So I felt very comfortable in the area. So, and then as you said, the time of day it was, we arrived about 3 o'clock to the restaurant and started smoking and started to smoke. And the incident occurred somewhere around 5 o'clock, well, I left about 5:10, 5 after 5, 5:10. So it happened somewhere between that span. And it was hot and it was hot, a lot of traffic. It was just a lot of traffic going on in that area.
so, so he just shot and then those guys took off running?
Well, I'm assuming they took off running. By the time I got back, no one was there. And yeah, I believe they fired shots and left, ran, took off running.
So they
But
didn't even take anything.
no, there's no account that I received that anybody left without properties or belongings that they brought with them. No one has said, "I'm missing my cell phone. They took my wallet, my watch." No one has shared that account with me. And so maybe it was attempted robbery, or I don't know what happened, or they were going to rob, but they never got. If that was the plan, they never got to that portion of the plan.
You know, a lot of people are wondering if this off-duty officer was armed or if he tried to do anything or if anything, but it just so happened so quickly.
That's my understanding. Everybody had their hands up, intentionally raised their hands, slowly complied, because it's from all accounts, it was so unexpected, so no one was prepared for anything. And so, I haven't heard anybody try to um, reach for non-service revolver or anything like